Lots of things. Joining us now is the great senator from Wisconsin, Mr. Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson, it is wonderful to see you, sir. And I just want one line. Why do we have to arm the IRS? I don't get it.
We don't. But firstly, I have to give a shout out to Trinity Lutheran School here in Freistadt, Wisconsin.
Oh.
It's the oldest Lutheran church in Wisconsin. And they are teaching their students morals, values, and faith. What a concept, huh? But no, listen, my wife used to be an IRS agent. There was one case where she had to take a special agent that was armed because the taxpayer was a little snarly, but there's no reason you can't use local law enforcement or some other federal law enforcement official to do that. I don't think we should be arming IRS agents. It's just not a good idea.
All right, save America, disarm the IRS. I mean, I'm all, the Al Capones of the world, but we have a DEA now to take care of that, or we have armed forces, or we have police departments. But IRS, I don't think so. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about, among other things, Senator Johnson, is as of May 1st, apparently, which is, I think, Monday, this crazy idea where people who have a good credit score, like 680 FICO credit score or better, and have a 15 to 20% down payment on their mortgage for a home, for the American dream, they are going to get penalized with a higher mortgage rate and more fees. And meanwhile, those people that can't afford it are going to get subsidized, just like we did with subprime loans with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac back in 2008, 2009. That was the genesis of the story. Now, this crazy idea is going to go in May 1st, okay? Can't this be stopped? Isn't this the stupidest idea? This is more socialist redistribution, damage the wealthy. By the way, they're not rich, it's middle-class people. What do you think, Senator Johnson?
Right. Well, you're right. It is redistribution. It's exactly what the Biden administration and Democrats, this is the way they govern. They want to take from successful people, and they want to give to people who aren't so successful. And listen, we want to help people. We're all compassionate folks. But, the more moral hazard you introduce into our system, the more failures you can get as well. And it's simply not fair. I mean, look at what President Biden did with student loans. And we've got to shut that down. So, we're right now trying to determine, is this a rule? Did they follow the Administrative Procedure Act? Can we do a Congressional Review Act on this? But the problem is we've been passing those, but President Biden just vetoes them. So it's going to require us winning in 2024 to reverse this regulation or rule or guidance, whatever it is, and try and reverse all the other destruction and harm that the Biden administration has perpetrated on this country.
So just on this particular rule, which comes from the Housing Finance Agency inside, there's nothing, nobody wants to stand up? I mean, Republicans, Democrats, I mean, this is just insanity. There's no common sense. So this is going to actually go through and, nothing, no hullabaloo?
No, again, my concern here is I'm not quite sure what this is. And so we've written GAO to determine what is this? I mean, again, have they gone through the Administrative Procedures Act? So again, we'll try and use every tool in our toolkit to prevent this. But the bottom line, Larry, this, Congress has willingly granted constitutional authority to the executive. They willingly take it. And like President Obama, President Biden is willing to govern by the telephone and the pencil or the pen.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, I guess. Very important. All right, let me go to something else. This is day 86 where President Biden has not talked to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy about increasing the debt, despite the fact that Biden has said, as you well know, sir, Biden has said many times, show me your budget. So McCarthy and company put together a very reasonable proposal that would raise the debt ceiling next year by $1.5 trillion. But it's got almost $5 trillion of savings across the board, including workfare, including H.R. 1 on energy, liberating the fossil fuels. You know all about that. Day 86, Biden will not talk to McCarthy. Okay? No coffee, no Diet Coke, no dinner out together, no drive-in movie, no nothing. Who's to blame here? I mean, who's the guy that's holding up the debt?
Well, it's obviously Schumer and Biden, but let me first give a great deal of credit to every Republican in the House that worked to pass this. Conservative senators were talking a lot with the conservative House members. We've never voted for an increase in the debt ceiling. We knew we had to. We needed to use the debt ceiling as it's intended to be used, attached to fiscal controls. I know this is not something that House conservatives wanted to vote for, but they end up being eminently reasonable. Everybody came together. They passed this. So what we're going to be doing in the Senate is support their efforts. Hopefully hold a big press conference where we call on Chuck Schumer to bring this on the floor of the Senate and pass it. It is very reasonable. Trust me, I was talking to House conservatives. We wanted a whole lot more. We wanted to return to a lower baseline. But in the end, they got 217 members of the House Republican Conference to vote this. It's the only thing that's out there right now to avert the debt ceiling. And I didn't want to call it a crisis. It's a made-up crisis. Constitutionally, we can't default on our debt. We shouldn't. Janet Yellen has the power to prioritize spending. But right now, this is what's on the table. Chuck Schumer ought to bring it on the floor of the Senate and pass it. This is done. Then we need to move on to the appropriation bills. Bring them up one by one, thoughtfully consider them with amendments, return some function to Congress.
All right. So no action there, day 86. No action on this crazy upside-down mortgage story, which is developing maybe May 1st on Monday. I got another one for you, Senator Johnson. I mean, this is Friday, so we can talk about anything anywhere, I suppose. James Comer's doing a fine job as the chairman of the Oversight Committee in the House. And he has discovered, through doing some homework in the Treasury Department, all these suspicious activity reports and these LLCs, which are owned by Biden family members. Now, you have done a lot of work on this. You and Senator Chuck Grassley, you know a fair amount about this. We also learned that in the area of dirty tricks in the 2020 campaign, Antony Blinken, who now is the Secretary of State, the top job in the U.S. government, he actually was the quarterback of this Gang of 51 letter, which denied the Hunter Biden laptop story in the New York Post. So that's also come up, I believe, from the work of Jim Jordan on the Judiciary Committee. So what I see is Biden-esque corruption to the left of us and Biden-esque corruption to the right of us. You were one of the originals to investigate and explore this. What are you thinking about this today?
Well, let's take it in order. First of all, I agree with you. Chairman Jordan and Comer are doing a great job. They're building off the investigations Senator Grassley and I had. What's interesting about what James Comer has uncovered is Senator Grassley and I have the Treasury records through 2019. So the Bidens knew they were under investigation by Congress, by the Department of Justice. And now James Comer's gotten Treasury records past that point, which means they continued their grifts. They continued selling the family name because they figured they were untouchable. They had the media, they had the deep state actors in favor that just never thought they'd be held accountable. In terms of Antony Blinken, this is egregious. He should resign. If not, he should be impeached. This is a profound fraud committed against the American people. I can't think of greater harm, greater interference in our elections. Russia and China could only hope to accomplish even a fraction of what Antony Blinken and those 51 intelligence agents, former officials, accomplished. All of those people should be stripped of their security clearances. None of them should be allowed to work for the federal government, including Antony Blinken. This is egregious, and the media ought to be outraged by it. But again, except on conservative media, it's just a big old silence.
Well, I'm doing my best here, doing my best every afternoon. But let me ask you this. This is interesting. You said you and Mr. Grassley uncovered these suspicious activity reports through 2019. Jim Comer has covered more recent ones. Do you think this grift, as you call it, it's influence peddling, it's payments from our adversaries like China for certain, and who knows who else is involved in this. It's just a bunch of influence peddling. This grift could have continued into Mr. Biden's presidential administration?
Yeah, I haven't seen those Treasury records, but again, they knew they were under investigation in 2020, and they continued their activities. We didn't know that there were so many family members. We knew James and Sarah Biden. We knew, obviously, Hunter. You know, we uncovered the vast web of foreign financial entanglements. The added element here is, you know, as time went by, even though they knew they were under investigation, they continued influence peddling. It's just brazen. It's jaw-dropping. It shows how utterly corrupt the Biden family is, and Joe Biden sits at the top of that family. He's highly compromised. He's highly corrupt.
And we got the dirty tricks guy sitting on top of the Secretary of State administration, which is incredible to me.
Where's the outrage?
Where's the outrage? Well, all right, Senator Johnson, we appreciate it. What was that? You're standing in front of the Lutheran school. Did I get that right?
Yeah, this is Trinity Lutheran School in Freitstadt, Wisconsin, the oldest Lutheran church in Wisconsin. And again, they're teaching morals, values, and faith. They're doing a great job.
God bless them. Good for them. And thank you, sir, as